Welcome to the latest edition of Stony Brook Newsbreak. My name is Katie Wong and I'm your anchor for today. The Biden administration just announced that the Israeli Defense Force has agreed to put a 4-hour daily humanitarian pause in place to allow civilians to flee to the south of Gaza. According to the U.S. National Security Council, spokesman John Kirby, Israel has committed to announcing each 4-hour window at least 3 hours in advance. Kirby mentioned that Israel has also agreed to open a second corridor for civilians to flee northern Gaza. As Israel continues to drop bombs on Gaza after the initial Hamas terrorist attack on October 7th, the Palestinian death toll has now climbed over 10,000, with officials speculating that thousands more are dead under the rubble. Students on Stony Brook University's campus have continuously voiced their support for Gaza and have organized 2 protests so far on campus to demand a ceasefire in the region. Today, students are gathered at the SAC Plaza once again to protest Israel's attacks and call for an immediate end to the bombing on Gaza. Our reporter, Anthony DeCoco, is reporting live from the scene at the Student Activity Center Plaza. Anthony, can you tell us what's going on today?
I'm Anthony DeCoco, reporting live here from the Student Activity Center Plaza. There are protesters gathering behind me in support of Palestinian people. I'm here with Nofel, who has decided to give his thoughts on the matter. What message are you trying to spread here today?
I think it's very important for us to show our disapproval and show our protest against the genocide that is going on in Israel and that is happening with the U.S. taxpayer dollars.
And what are your thoughts on the pause Israel has decided to implement?
I think a pause is not enough. We need a ceasefire, and then we need an end to the apartheid state and the oppression that the Palestinian people are going through.
And how has this conflict affected your life personally?
It has not affected my life personally, since obviously I live in the United States and I'm very privileged with that. But it is not to say that I do not hold. Forgot the word. I do not feel the pain of the Palestinian people.
Thank you, Nofel. Back to you in the studio, Katie.
Thank you for reporting live, Anthony. Earlier today, our reporter, Thomas Pardo, asked a student at the SBU Jewish Center how their community on campus feels about the ongoing conflict between Israel and Hamas.
The response of the university to this current conflict has been better than the responses that we have received in previous conflicts, such as in 2021, when the response was non-existent. The response this time has made it clear that anti-Semitism is intolerable and is a form of discrimination that will not be tolerated by this institution, and that, alongside a visit by President McInnes to our Stony Brook Hillel Center, has very much eased our minds and our hearts when it comes to this conflict. But I assure you that, unfortunately, as long as the conflict persists between Israel and the terrorist group Hamas, the anxieties of people in my community will continue to persist.
In New York City, Ivanka Trump appeared as the state's 4th and final witness at her family's civil fraud trial. New York State Attorney General Letitia James said that the Trump organization committed fraud for many years by inflating his net worth in order to obtain favorable loans from banks. This trial will determine how much the former president and his sons will pay for the business fraud and whether they can continue business in New York. Throughout the hearing, Ivanka Trump was questioned by the Attorney General's office about the former president's financing loans for the Doral Golf Resort and Spa in Florida through Deutsche Bank and her knowledge and involvement in financial statements, her own personal finances, and countless emails exchanges that took place between members of her family.
Ivanka Trump was cordial, she was disciplined, she was controlled, and she was very courteous. But her testimony raises some questions with regards to its credibility, which will be a question for the finder of fact. The reality is that based on the evidence, the documentary evidence, she clearly was involved in negotiating and securing loans, favorable loans, for the benefit of the Trump organization.
Trump denies all wrongdoings and is expected to return to the stand sometime next week. After 6 months, writers and actors are ending their strike. Hollywood's Actors Union reached a tentative deal with studios on Wednesday.
We're really excited about the AI protections and many other things that we fought hard for. The mood in the room, we stood up, we clapped, and we cried.
The agreement marks the end of the longest strike ever for film and television actors. The exact details of the deal are unknown, but the union says it's worth more than $1 billion and includes compensation increases, content protections for the use of AI and a streaming participation bonus. The 3-year contract must be approved by the board of SAG-AFTRA and its members in the upcoming days. The 80-foot-tall Rockefeller Center Christmas tree started its journey from Vestal, New York to the Big Apple today. The 80 to 85-year-old Norway spruce tree was officially chopped down this morning and is set to arrive in New York City on Saturday. The tree will be decorated with 50,000 LED bulbs for the world to see for the 2023 holiday season. The tradition of the Rockefeller Center tree began in 1931 when construction workers pitched in to buy a small tree and decorated it with handmade garlands and then lined up at the tree to receive their paychecks. The Rockefeller Center turned it into an annual tradition 2 years later. That's all we have for today. I'm Katie Wong. Thank you for watching this week's edition of the Stony Brook Newsbreak.